for High Noon for a change on this channel. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. We are, of course, on Fumidor and the Flavors. D is probably confused. I'm going to mute myself in a second, and D, go for it. Do that thing that you do.
What's going on, everybody? This show is for educational and entertainment purposes only. You have to be 21 and over to be here. If not, you have to get out of here. That means you, little boy in the back, I see you peeking in. And you, little girl in the window, stop looking. No, no, no. Back to you, Phoebe.
That's it. There's no window shopping on this show, ladies and gentlemen. It's buyer beware. That didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, or maybe it does. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Thanks very much for joining us. Of course, the show is for adults only. Welcome, Christoph and Jones and to Grow in the chat. Let's see who's here first.
Big force.
First, Christoph. First,
Wow.
Premier. Welcome, Christoph. Welcome, folks. Let me post a link here so that you guys can join us. This show is a conversational show. Go. At least the structure is right now. We'll see where we go from the future. But in the meantime, welcome back, by the way. If you guys didn't know where we were for the longest time, or welcome us back or something, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. Uh, Show's been on strike pretty much. Not really on strike, but it's been struck essentially from YouTube. Basically had I guess I don't want to give details just to give people ideas, but I had enough strikes basically to put the channel in jeopardy, and fuck that shit, honestly, with a stick. Seems like the only way that I can actually get these shows on and avoid the reports basically is to literally never show my website in any way, not talk about the seeds in any way, on and on and on, which I have to be honest, is a problem for me. So I don't know that that's a very long-term solution, to be perfectly honest with you. So gonna find a solution fairly quickly, or the show's gonna go bye-bye, to be perfectly frank. So I can't do this for free anymore. I've done it. I've given up a lot in my life, basically, for growing and everything else. So if I'm not able to sell the seeds that I've been trying to make for years and put in a lot of work for, I think I'm just gonna go, just leave. So or find something else to do, So uh please, any ideas are welcome, honestly, because I really can't stand the fact that just literally one fucking measly shit stain from California can shut down my entire everything, my channel, my everything, just from reporting me. It's weird that YouTube is so lackadaisical with the whole reporting system. They basically don't want to invest anything into it. That's these companies basically, Facebook, YouTube, Google, on and on. They don't want to pay for any moderators whenever they can. Reluctantly, practically with a gun to their head, they'll hire some moderators in Kenya or the Philippines or wherever else to moderate some of the most horrific content on their platforms. Facebook, there's been all kinds of stories about the people that moderate all the just, oh my God, the child porn and everything else on those platforms that people, of course, post, right? Obviously Facebook
Onion.
can't have that shit on their websites, right?
Oh,
Or on their platform. So they, until they create an AI that can filter it out, and I guess they've been working on that kind of stuff for a long time, they use human beings and they treat them very poorly. They pay them really well and everything else. So these companies are incredibly fundamentally irresponsible, is where I'm getting to with this. Whereby in this circumstance, there's a lot of fucked up shit on YouTube that is basically allowed to exist, but because of some guy that has a grudge against me or somebody else on YouTube or whatever, maybe he just does it for kicks. We really don't know, because these guys are such cowards that they won't even tell you why they report the channels. I'm not the only person. I'm not freaking Jesus. There's been plenty of other shows that have gotten taken down. If you guys remember the old GrowTube Roundtable and all those guys, a lot of them basically lost their channels. The GrowTube Roundtable lost a channel, on and on and on and on. It's been an ongoing thing basically on YouTube that bitter shitheads basically shut everything fucking down. It's messed up that YouTube allows it that way. Basically, it's kind of the rule of this country, honestly, the United States. We never really balance things in the right way. It's always extremely this or extremely that. We can never really have a perfectly good solution. I guess I should avoid what I was going to get into right there. But anyway, I also don't want to make it a both sides argument. That's not where I was going to with that, but still. Anyway, Tasmanian Devil is not wrong on some level. He's saying they're so worried about offending one person that they alienate the many others. Basically, it's not exactly that, but I think that's the philosophical underpinning behind the behavior that Google and YouTube and some others. You know what? That's actually the philosophical underpinning that they use to justify the fact that they just don't want to pay these people. They want to make more money, honestly, and so paying people costs lots of money, honestly. And so the easiest way to make more money is to not pay people money. That's the simplest thing for these companies. They have no customer service. If you guys have ever noticed, Google, Facebook, none of these companies have fucking customer service. None of them. Instagram, if your account gets shut down on Instagram, who the fuck do you call? Jesus, probably. That you'd be better off. You'd be better off praying to God than to try to contact someone at Instagram. So fucked up, this whole system. Anyway, I don't mean to be a downer or something, but it has been really challenging, honestly, to do this channel and to realize that it's been going on for so fucking long that I have 4 channels now to spread across the risk and on and on and on. And I'm just like, man, I literally can't even put my website on there because anytime there's been times on the show where I didn't say a fucking thing where I know because I watched the show, I would go through and see like, oh, what was the thing that got reported for? No, it was obviously just having the website. That was literally it. So until find a solution for this, consider this show on life support, basically on its last legs. Ladies and germs. By the way, even the content, years of fucking content that we have on this channel, I can't show it. I literally have to have it private because I don't even want to say the guy's name because he's this piddly little fuckface. It's it doesn't even how does even empowering that one guy potentially takes away the fucking blame from all the other shitheads. Could be a handful of fuck faces that report this and many other channels. They probably do it to a bunch of channels, honestly. Can't be just me that the guy has a fucking grudge against. Where was I going to with that? Oh, I lost my fucking train of thought. It doesn't matter. Ladies and germs, though, please do. I really could use some ideas for the future of this. Oh, I was talking about the private videos. I basically had to take literally fucking everything. I mean, the interviews with goodness gracious, how many people have we had down here? We've had Miss Jill either 1 or 2 times even. We've had North Star a handful of times, Gage a handful of times. Although granted, Gage's interviews are mostly on Fubidoro, I think. Breeder Steve was on here for like 3, 4 hours. I mean, we had Coot for hundreds of hours. Uh, I wouldn't recommend necessarily spending time with him now, but the fountain of knowledge that was Coot is really something else. I still, from time to time, catch myself remembering something that he basically taught me or taught basically all of us collectively. Anyway, Coot was on here literally for hundreds of fucking hours. I don't think there's any other channel on the entire internet, not Build a Soil, not anywhere else, where Coot was literally there talking, holding court for hundreds of fucking hours. I had to take all those videos private, literally every single one, because I was getting sniped for 4-year-old videos. Somebody was going back and just reporting them. Why would you do that? Well, just to shut me down. That's really the only reason. It's not like a 4-year-old video was sitting there poking you in the eye and offending you. You just wanted to take me down. So I had to take all of them private. So anyway, I don't really want to announce what I'm going to, well, actually, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to try to set up the join system basically because my channel has had all kinds of features available for the longest time, and I just have never really implemented them. It's kind of ironic to me when people have called me some kind of a money grubber in the past. I could have been money grubbing the whole time. Anyway, so I'm going to money grub a little bit, and I'm going to set up the join system so you can actually join as members. And I don't know, you get fucking emojis or some shit. I don't even know. Honestly, you get a pat on the back, and then potentially you get access to the private videos. I think that's the only way that I can do it because if I leave it open in any way, if I post a link on Discord and I've thought about doing unlisted videos, but as soon as anybody gets the link, and sure enough, the one troll that I suspect most likely was the one most responsible for my recent problems. How do I put it? He got the link for some of my new channels from somebody. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's very easy to pass that link on to fuckfaces. I think some of you guys like to see the world burn, so I have to be careful of that too, just as much as I do of the trolls. So I think the only way to do it, honestly, is going to be through the join. So we'll see how that goes because I don't know if 3 of you are going to join or 20 of you or 100. I honestly don't know. So I realized that probably keep the price low. I don't know, 420 or 240 or whatever the shit. I don't even know. I guess that's a
710.
question for you guys in the chat. What's that, D?
710.
710, of course. I don't know if there's multiple tiers on the YouTube thing. I've never actually done it, honestly. So anyway, but
Yeah.
in the meantime, that's going to be the only way that I'm going to be able to show those shows ever again. Captain, by the way, I see you there, has said, "Oh, start up your own website." No, I don't have the tens of thousands of dollars that it costs to create a streaming website because that's literally what it costs to do your own streaming server and everything. And
Yeah.
the costs per month are super high too. So there's no possible way to justify that. I could obviously download all the videos and keep them to myself, but I mean, I can literally watch them on YouTube privately myself too, so that does me no goddamn
I
good.
can too.
So, oh, can
Luckily,
you? Oh, right.
luckily me, yes, I do have access. I'm the only
There
one
you go. So D has access to it, but I'm
private
not going to give
access.
anybody else access to the fucking shit channel like D does. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, please do send some ideas my way. I would very much like to, because fuck, I don't know how do I put this. I don't want this to go away. I've gotten used to this. I've certainly built a whole breeding program, and in my mind, I thought that the YouTube channel was going to be a huge part of that. I want to get back to my tasting society. It's going to have a different name probably, but anyway, my tasting group that I had for a long time. Well, ironically, I haven't had it for longer than I did have it at this point. But anyway, regardless, I'd like to bring it back basically. And of course, I thought the YouTube channel and channels would be a good place for that. Dank Culture Collective, by the way, is one of the channels that is specifically going to be oriented for that group. Spoiler alert, I think the name of the group is going to be Dank Culture Collective. Basically, it's a little bit more inclusive than Portland Cannabis Tasting Society. Anyway, plus Portland has gotten a reputation for fucking fentanyl and shit on the street these days. So Portland is not exactly the best idea of a tasting society.
Fucking
Anyway, what was I going to say? Anyway, fucking ideas. I'm babbling like a crazy person, but please do subscribe, ladies and gentlemen, to those new channels like Dia is showing, Dank Culture Collective. That is hopefully going to be the name of the group. Like I say, that we're going to be coming back hopefully very soon. And of course, Fumes of Gold. Thank you, Dee. Fumes of Gold that's by the way, literally the meaning of Fumidoro. It's supposed to be a pun. Anyway, Fumes of Gold is kind of the third channel, I guess, of the show these days. Many of you guys know Fumidoro. Of course, if you don't know Fumidoro, please do subscribe to Fumidoro. I just about hiccuped. And of course, if you're not subscribed to this channel, if you just are one of those people that just likes to, I don't even know, remember channels or some shit and keep them in a Rolodex, if you could subscribe to this channel, it would be very beneficial, honestly. I would very much like to finally get over 2,000 subscribers and so on and so forth. So anyway, good to see everybody. I haven't said hello to anyone in the chat before we say hello to D and Captain.
bells.
I'm going to, and I didn't post the link either. I'm going to say hello to basically fucking everybody. Holy shit. St. Pete Runners in the house, Midwest, Chesmany Devils in the house. Who else? Midwest Outlaw. Good to see you, buddy. Seymour Cannabis. Good to see you. CTC's in the house. My nose is apparently dripping. Penny Ben's in the house. Pip Jam MBF. Good to see you, buddy. Who else in here? Garden Grows hanging. Robert Bendula, of course, hanging with us. Dog Pounds, long time no see. Dog Pounds. J5 is with us this fine, probably afternoon for him.
Oh, Johnny Pipe.
Kundalini Psychosis. Who else in here? Zesty Air is in here with some coffee and
Oh, Johnny Pipe.
chemicals, I guess. Let's see here. Who else in here? KNC's hanging. A Reuben sandwich sounds pretty good right now, honestly. You're right. Uh, Firefly UK, Magma Seeds in the house. He's saying, "Hey, what's going on,
Hell
Magma?
with
Good to see you."
you.
KOTS or COTS. I can't remember if it's the one or the other, both ways. Just like your mama
He
likes it.
said,
Matt Mortenson's in the house, and who else in here? Jack Beanstalk in the house, T-Ban hanging, and finally, let me post that fucking link. Boom. What's going on, D?
"What's going on, everybody? What's going on, chat? Welcome to the let's get the takeover. Welcome to the safety meeting. You can find me on Instagram at D_zombie_. If you haven't already subscribed to me, check me out there. You can also find me on in my Instagram or my Instagram. See now I need to smoke something, get my thinking compartment all squared away, as Ricky would say. You can find me on YouTube at gzombie_745. To like, subscribe, hit the bell. I do go live. I'm gonna be hopefully doing some more lives, build up my YouTube a little bit. Yeah. No, I'm smoking on Pink Bubba, and no Death Bubba right now. No. It's not nighttime yet. Not like some people, like Mr. Cap 420 over there. Cap, what's going on, buddy?
Not a whole lot. The only thing difference in what I've been doing is my cup's got a little bit less bourbon in it now.
So it's like Bourbon and Bourboff. Bourbon and
Uh,
Bourboff. Okay, never mind. But
I ended up taking a nap and getting up at 11 p.m. and it was like, what the hell? I haven't been sleeping well lately, so
kind
me getting sleep is rare.
of like Koski.
And
Remember our good friend Grokoski, who basically struggles with sleep all the time.
yeah, and I have ever since my accident.
Mm. Yeah,
People
that's a
tell
fucked up
me,
one. It'll
well,
mess you
quit,
up.
stop smoking pot.
Oh,
You
the
quit
pot's probably the
smoking
best thing
pot.
for you for sleep. Shit, people don't even realize. Yeah. I used to have all kinds of insomnia until I started smoking weed, and these days, rarely ever do I struggle to fall asleep. Lately, more so. Well, actually, lately I've been waking up basically frantically because I'm going through a bunch of shit in real life. Whatever, it's not worth going into. But so that fucks you up basically when you have all kinds of disturbed sleep. But yeah, like pot is wonderful for falling asleep. Holy shit. Even
No,
I mean, I suppose
it's the
some people are different.
opposite.
Oh, it's the opposite for you?
Yet what they're
Really?
telling me is I'm smoking too much and it's interrupting my sleep.
The doctors are telling you that or what?
Well, there's no doctor going to tell me that.
Well, so who's
No
telling you? Just
doctor
some
out
fucking
there.
guy that basically pulled it out of their butthole or someone with any authority to
A
understand it?
lot of the people that have 30, 40 years in this industry
In weed, they're telling you that you're basically
and
not sleeping
dealing
because of weed?
medical. Yeah,
Oh, all right.
my cannabinoid system is overloaded, so I can't get to sleep.
Oh, all right. I haven't heard of that one, but I guess all right. Would it help to do a tolerance break?
Yes, it would, but yeah, go fuck that. I'm sorry. My
Right
tolerance
on.
No.
breaks are like my flights back to the US. That's 26 hours.
Hmm.
I literally have a joint waiting for me in the car when I get into Cleveland,
That's
okay?
nice. That's the way. Well,
I'd be the
anyway,
same way,
what's going
man.
on, bud?
Uh, yeah, I just got home. My friend Becca in Humboldt's, I thought she sent me some flowers from their farm. And I went to the post office on Saturday, and sometimes they put a slip in the box instead of put the package in the box or the key to the locker. So Monday was a holiday. I forgot yesterday, but um yeah,
Some
it's
dead
just a bunch of
zones.
jars of super killer rosin uh, filled to the top, which, yeah, I'd be curious to see what flowers made all this, but Fatso OG, uh, Gushman, there's like 5 jars, 5 grams in each jar, I guess. Seven Sins, all super blend rosin. I'm gonna dig in and get rosined up here.
Nice.
Sounds lovely. Cushman's is one that just would not like it just would not agree with my garden. Like I could not get them to grow. Like they would just be super small. I'd have a couple clones. They'd always say stay super small. Like really weird. Like it grows fine for other people, but for some reason for me, Cushman's just would not do it. So
And
It's awesome.
this is closer to your thing. My good friend, and she used to be our trimmer, but we can't afford her. She works at Archive. Like they actually fly her up there to work for days trimming. And she's very
no
tight-lipped
kidding.
on everything and the way it goes. I ask a million questions, and the way it goes up there is like very tight-lipped. Oh, but even the trim standards, like she says that you can't touch the the, the buds at all, and that they spot
Yeah.
check with a loop and can look at buds
Yep.
and see if there any of the trichomes are damaged, and then they keep track of who trims what, and it's a whole standard, a real high standard that.
Yep.
Oh, Lindsay, yeah, that's why she was getting 200 a pound for all those years, because she's like she don't even smoke weed anymore, but man, she can trim like, uh, yeah, there's people as good as her, but she's in the top echelon. Oh, she's coming over for dinner tonight. Uh, but
Oh,
oh, she finally has. Like she's worked for them for years, and I've yet to have like any buds. She brought some buds, and my partner
Right on.
Gary, she rents a room at that house. He called me and just out of the Blue mentioned, yeah, I smoked some of that stuff that Lindsay from what he didn't even know the name of the place. He says, dude, that's the best weed I've smoked in years. I'm like, oh, I can't wait till I try it out. So this evening I'll be puffing some archives.
That's exciting. Right on. They have good
Cause
weed
yeah,
for sure.
like I respect it and I respect her especially. And from the beginning, oh, I ask a million questions about what's going on, right? Oh, even that the only people that really know what strain they're trimming is two people in the operation, right? Because there's everything's like got codes on it. And so like the trimmers only know the code, doesn't know the actual
That.
genetic, which yeah, they're very yeah, they run a tight ship, right? Which I respect. Like, yeah, especially if you're putting in all the years of work
What's the reason for all that
genetically and
secrecy though?
stuff.
Seriously, like I'm curious why would it matter if the trimmer knows what they're trimming?
Well, I mean, I guess you can
They
ask, but
they
like,
just don't need to know. It's not their business.
yeah, some of
Their
it's
business is there to
the
trim
regular
and that's
strains,
it.
but some of it are these projects, right? That aren't even and that like might make the cut, might make not make the cut. He does real breeding and real work and selections at a real level, which there's no question he's doing the work. A lot of people in this game seem to make it appear that they do all this work, but once they find six, oh, they might have got to the reputation with that work, but to a lot of people slack back. You know what I mean? And oh no, these guys are hands on and really in there. You know what I'm saying? And the results speak for itself, right? I mean, there's a lot of brands in the country try to claim to be all that. Yeah, I think they are all that. You know what I mean?
You
And they're
come
not
to work for
trying to.
me and you're going to sign a contract exactly like that. You don't talk about anything in the facility.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in my own little world. It's not all that serious. But I get at a certain point, if you're in that other world, it gets that serious, right? That's like even that a lot of the cuts that we acquire leak out of an operation that is trying to be tight. Like, oh, I don't think anything leaks from the archive. You get what I mean? Which even to run a business and have those kind of standards and stuff, oh, that's a pain in the ass too. Like a lot of the reason I'm loosey goosey and trust my trimmers, don't even, yeah, because I used to be like on it differently, weigh everything, and yeah, that's a lot of work.
Yes,
Like,
yes, it is.
yeah, I mean, sometimes when whatever's done, I don't like weigh it up. Like I don't, I'm I'm tired. It's hard enough just to weigh up what you need to weigh up. I don't like to just sit there and fuck with the scale. I was over at dinner at my friend's house who sort of a collector. He has a piece that's like art. It's a Ojas triple beam. I've never seen one this size. Like to put in perspective, it weighs up to 44 pounds. It's not
Okay.
that, but it's not your. It's basically a triple beam, and he was doing some work remodeling at uh, a couple's house that were jewelers. And this was just a tool that was from because not only can it do up to 44 pounds, I should have taken pictures of it. Uh,
That's 22 or 20 kilos,
it's precise down to like the
tenth of a gram.
yeah, and it's basically a triple beam. Oh, and he has all the attachments. There's a bunch of stuff, and uh, they just gave it to him, and then he checked on eBay, and oh yeah, there's a few of those that are collector items that sell from $4,000 to $6,000. It's a beautiful, like, yeah, just most of my life was triple beam. There was no digital scales. I don't know what year those started showing up, but uh, I even acquired my dad's triple beam until it broke, right? So to have a piece of art that's like a triple beam, I was like jealous. I was like, oh, that's cool. That's the ultimate cool.
Well, if you broke a triple beam, then that means you knocked one of the plates off of it.
No,
Because that's the only thing to
one
break on it.
that's down under the plate that's made out of wrought iron, like it's like it's not steel, and yeah, it broke. Like, yeah, I was putting it down on the shelf, maybe roughhouse a little bit because those things were durable. They were durable.
Yeah.
Uh, and like I say, it was my dad's. Like that happened years ago. That was a sad day in my life when I kept it in the garage as junk until I finally realized, well, throw it out when we moved out of that place. But I remember when this happened, realizing all that all that crossed that and like all yeah, my basically my existence. You know what I'm saying? Even this scale I have now, this digital thing, I've had it for a long time. Supposedly when I bought it, it's all hemp. Like even though it feels like plastic, it's supposedly it said on the box
And
like
plastic.
made out of hemp. Uh yeah, and it's seen better days and there's wear and tear and resin fingerprint buildup. But like, yeah, like that's like a in my world, that's like a very personal item to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like I remember when I just moved in last month, there was this one box that was basically the most important box. My like we don't need to get into it, but it had certain items that are like just part of functioning, you know, that couldn't get mixed up with other shit, you know?
Come on, hardcore.
All right. I'm gonna mute for I can try. I'm gonna try cherry dosey dose.
Don't everybody speak at once.
I was just gonna say, how long can we go quiet?
I'm just rolling a joint.
J5 is
I'm
saying you
at
look
the
like a
end
young
of one.
Fabio with those locks. Whatever happened to Fabio? Other than the goose that hit him in the nose on that right. Did you guys ever see that? That was probably bad, but amusing also. Fabio got hit by a bird. I don't actually know what kind of waterfowl it was. It was goose or a duck or something.
Broke his nose.
Broke his nose, yeah. He comes down all, his hair's all swinging in the wind and he's like just pouring blood. Sorry. It was pretty amusing. I don't know. You wouldn't assume that Fabio would get hit in the face with a duck, honestly. It'd be like if Pamela Anderson was just like running down the beach and a fucking seagull hits her in the face. Be unusual, right? It'd be very unexpected.
Yeah, what happened to that guy, Fabio? I remember there was a
I think
time
he's
when
still
like
around. Let's
his
look him up.
picture, how'd he age? Is he old looking now, or does he have plastic surgery like most of the women?
The fuck is that?
I know that Pamela Anderson moved
Oh,
out
he's
to like
62.
uh country living,
Fabio.
and when she makes certain posts and appeared at certain events, makeupless, which yeah, she still looks pretty good, even though makeupless
Oh.
after years of plastic surgery kind of looks weird. I give her credit for like having the ability to just be seen in her natural state, even though like you can see bad plastic surgery over the years.
Looks like he healed his nose.
Yeah, I like Pam Anderson. She's like a country girl. She lives like on a ranch, I think in Montana or somewhere like out there. She gave up Hollywood.
Here we go.
Oh, she's 56 now.
No, she lived she has a book out. I didn't read anything, but she was on a promotion tour. Oh, she's lived a wild fucking life. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
she definitely was in the mix.
That's true.
She was
Here's
with that
Al.
Cardi B guy when Motley Crue was the craziest and partied like beyond crazy.
Right. What's going on? Who did I just see in the chat? Fuck. Oh, there it is. Jeff. Cheers, Jeff. What's going on? I love that they all have good safety harnesses. But their fucking shoes aren't tied.
Hey, last week we were in Gardena when I was up in LA and we stopped at a 7-Eleven and there was like a, street vendor set up on the
What we
corner of
gonna
the
do, sir?
parking lot, and all they sold were safety vests. I was like, yeah, out of all things, I've seen people sell T-shirts, flowers, fruit, food. No, it was like a little easy up with on the corner where it was just safety vest and a few
Well,
other safety vest items. I was thinking, no, I guess there's people around here. I always thought that shit came with the job, but I guess if you get certain jobs, you have to bring your own safety vest because these guys were selling them on the corner. I've never
yeah,
seen.
a lot of we have in Canada here, especially Toronto area, we have a lot of Indian immigrants that come from India and all those other places. And a lot of them, nothing everybody, a lot of them start out as construction workers. So you see them all over
Well, I
uh
think,
the
yeah, there must be
construction.
a law if you're on a certain size construction site. It's mandatory you wear hard hat and vest.
Yep.
That's just
Steel
mandatory.
toe boots. Don't forget the boots.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, when you fall from 34 feet,
Yeah.
you hit the ground the same time as your helmet does, and it's not attached to your head anymore.
Yeah, 30 feet.
So it really fucking don't do a goddamn thing for you.
Here's what I know about feet. 30 feet horizontal is 30 feet. 30 feet vertical is gnarly. Like horizontal feet is different than vertical feet. Like especially when you fall.
Yeah. I'm not saying that sliding 30 feet wouldn't fuck you up on pavement, but
Hey, I got to tell you, out of all the different chores I do around here, the one that I vision and I'm most careful, I have to climb up on the hay bales, which now we're getting the order's getting low, so it's not that high. But when it's the full height, because you have to take the ones off the top first. And I've been up there a couple times.
Yeah.
Wouldn't get hurt or like extra careful
3,000 feet, right?
on the hay bale. Really, because when you toss one over, there's a tendency
That's
to go.
what she said.
It's almost like you could easily, the inertia when you're tossing one down, almost like pulls you down.
you got to get to the point where you toss a hay bale
Freaking nuts.
and
You guys see this?
it hits the edge and actually takes more bales off of the stack.
Yeah, there's a bunch of tricks.
It's a
this
game
woman-
you start to play.
Hey, my boss, as she sees me struggle and all this, is always saying, "Let the hay do the work." And
Yeah.
over the months, I've a couple little techniques I've come to learn how to do is exactly that. Let the hay do the work. Because, well, I've seen pictures and there's people that like in the hay business, I mean, today they got machinery, but in the old days
Holy shit.
they used to have this weird tool that helped you like throw
A
like back.
Pick
guy.
up a bale.
Yeah, a guy can just pick up a bale of hay and toss it. Well, yeah, that's
Yeah,
gnarly. Beyond it's heavy,
Hey,
it's
bales are
it's
heavy,
a
awesome.
yeah.
hook. They're
The
hooks.
round
Uh-huh.
bales were even the round bales were even heavier. They started at 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, like
Yeah, you can make them 40 pounds. You can make them 50 pounds, 60 pounds, 80 pounds. You just
Yeah,
set
yeah,
the
but I'm talking
bailiff.
about
Still,
big.
40 pound bales times 100 is a lot of fucking weight that you
Yeah.
have to move too. So
well, I could tell you from like five,
Yeah,
six
I
months
don't
ago,
know what 40s are.
the first time I had to deal with it, I could barely move a bale of hay. Now, oh, I can't just lift it up and toss it. But that's my gauge. I can tell I'm getting in shape. Is basically the ease at which I can move hay. Because 5 months ago, oh my God, it almost killed me trying to move hay.
Oh shit. That's crazy for me. I paused the replay and I read that about that flight attendant. That's crazy.
she fell 33,000 feet and fucking lived.
Yeah,
I mean, she was fucked up when she got down to the ground. She was in a coma and stuff, but she lived. Can you imagine? Holy
yeah.
cow.
I've talked
Broken
about it around here
ribs,
before.
broken pelvis.
Yeah, but that's got to be like 100,000 to one, or even longer odds. Like if you drop,
That's a trillion to one.
yeah, like that's like true miracle. Like that's just so miracle. And I would always think, God, what would those last seconds be like?
Flat.
As, as you were getting like, yeah, like how would you think? Like what would be going through your brain? Like holy.
This is going to hurt. That's exactly what goes through your brain. This is going to hurt.
The
Okay,
ground does.
let me tell you.
Grass.
It's the shortfalls from ladders that kill you, though, because your body doesn't have time to correct itself.
Yeah, my
I'd rather fall
grandfather
12 feet from
fell
a ladder than
five
4 feet
feet.
from a ladder.
My grandfather fell 5 feet from a step ladder and ended up in a halo. And
Yeah.
I fall 34 feet and don't break a goddamn thing in my neck.
See the
I was,
sprawling metropolis we got going on here?
I almost fell through a barn floor, but luckily I put my arms out. I only got like an airplane fast enough before I went through.
From the fence of John to Bill's backyard, this expansive community.
Well, yeah, as I've been getting into my life, I realized, yeah, beyond I'm 60, like I have to be extra careful because, yeah, when you get older, you don't heal as quick. So like if something,
No.
you know, like, yeah, I'm in over my head a little bit because, yeah, some of the things when you're on a ranch, oh yeah, you can get hurt. It's part of, it's part of it. Yeah, I'm just like trying to like, oh, I think before I act because yeah, I don't want to get even the slightest injury when you're older becomes a big deal.
You don't want to get kicked by a sidekick by a ninja horse or anything.
Yeah. Or it's not
Those
even
leather
that. It's
palm
like, oh,
gloves are nice.
it's fucking with the hay bale or some of the other stuff where, yeah, if you don't watch out, little things can happen.
Mm.
Especially because I'm like a stoner, so I sometimes I do like I'm a doof.
I wasn't going to say anything about, okay, what stupid stoner things have you done?
Oh, they have
How much feed went on the floor the first time?
a lot of times where I realize where it's an issue is is when I give my boss gives me instructions and then I'm like so stoned that like it was very simple what she said, but somehow it like my complicated in my own way of like I don't hear it right. I'm so stumped. You know what I mean? Like overcomplicate things sometimes. At least that's what she says. I overcomplicate things.
J5, just so you know, the lady was a flight attendant on the plane. She probably wasn't drunk. But yeah, and I falling that fast and with no oxygen, depending on the oxygen, the how high you are, she might have went unconscious. You
Well,
know,
she definitely went unconscious because if not, her heart would have exploded from that falling from that height.
If she was conscious, she would have tensed up all her muscles and she would have fucking.
fuck.
I don't know. Did she like get hit by a tree? Did a tree save her a little or something like that?
That was the
Or
other one. Oh, I closed it. Dang it.
I don't know. I didn't read the rest.
What's the story of the guy that got the railroad pin through his fucking skull?
Oh, fuck.
They have two shoots.
I know who you're talking about. The one who they were like, "Oh shit, this is really important for the history of psychology." Phineas Gage or some
Phineas.
shit. Phineas Gage, I think it
Yep,
was.
that's it.
No, I spelled it right. Look at that.
There you go.
Yeah, he's got
Phineas fucking Gage.
got a gaping hole in his head, and he's just there looking around, like, "What's wrong? What's going on? Go have a sandwich."
And if you thought he was blinking at you, he was just standing there. What do you want? He was an American railroad construction foreman, remembered for his improbable survival of an accident in which a large iron rod was driven completely through his friggin' head, destroying much of his brain's left frontal lobe, and for that injury's reported effects on his personality and behavior over the remaining 12 years of his life. Effects sufficiently profound that friends saw him, for a time at least, as no longer Gage. Look at that, right through his frickin' skull. Long known as the crowbar case, the American crowbar case. I feel like we've talked about this on the show before, but anyway, it doesn't matter because I had to take the episode private, so it's like it never happened. Once termed the case, which more than all others is calculated to excite our wonder, impair the value of prognosis, and even to subvert our physiological doctrines. I mean, if I had a nickel for every time I called something the case which more than all others is calculated to excite our wonder, impair the value of prognosis, and even to subvert our physiological doctrines. I mean, I'd have at least 10 cents. Phineas Gage influenced 19th century discussion about the mind and brain, particularly debate on cerebral localization, and was perhaps the first case to suggest the brain's role in determining personality and the damage to specific parts of the brain might induce specific mental changes. Oh yeah, that's right. He likes brains. Let's see.
I'd
Let's skip
rather
ahead
have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy.
I mean, who wouldn't? The cone of uncertainty for the path taken by the tamping iron. Gage's mouth was open at the moment of his explosion, and the front and back of his skull temporarily hinged apart as the iron entered from below, then were pulled back together by the resilience of soft tissues once the iron had exited through the top of Gage's head. Jesus, H balls.
Do you think he had?
Look at
Did
that.
they take it out? Did they remove it, or did
I
he
think it
have
just
to
shot right through his head.
It went
Yeah,
right
it
through.
sounds like it shot right through.
There's an old timer at the lumber yard I used to
That
go
was a
to
falling
all the
piece
time,
of metal.
and he was a roofer back in the day, and he fell off the roof and got skewered by a piece of rebar, went right through, like right next to his asshole, and came out like his stomach somewhere. And this guy walked like what is it, really bull-legged. He looked like he was a fucking cowboy. He just had a really weird gait. But he could have chosen to have disability and made more than what he was making for work for the rest of his life. But instead, he said no, and he went to work every day after that. I mean, after he healed or whatever, but badass motherfucker.
Yeah, fuck that.
The end. So basically, it was an accident. It's like a pointed cylinder or something like a javelin. So basically, it was to pack the explosive rounds in the fucking hole to put the like to blow up the rock, pretty much. The end which entered Gage's cheek first is pointed, the taper being 11 inches long, ending a quarter inch or whatever. Circumstances to which the patient perhaps owes his life. The iron is unlike any other and was made by a neighboring blacksmith to please the fancy of the owner. I bet that's what it was. It was the artisanal nature of it. The tamping iron landed point first some 80 feet away, smeared with blood and brain. He was thrown on his back, gave some brief convulsions of the arms and legs, but spoke within a few minutes, walked with little assistance, and sat upright in an ox cart for the frickin' 3/4 mile ride at his lodgings. While en route,
Yeah, grab the sandwiches, guys. What's going on? I don't know what's
Drove up, he
wrong.
said, "Doctor, here's business enough for you. I first noticed the wound upon the head before I alighted from my carriage, the pulsations of the brain being very distinct. The top of the head appeared somewhat like an inverted funnel, as if some wedge-shaped body had passed from below upward. Mr. Gage, during the time I was examining his wound, was relating the manner in which he was injured to the bystanders. I did not believe Mr. Gage's statement at the time, but thought he was deceived. Mr. Gage persisted in saying that the bar went through his head. Mr. G got up and vomited. The effort of vomiting pressed about half a teacup full of the brain through the exit hole of the top of the skull, which fell on the floor. Harlow took care of the case. Oh my fucking god. So yeah, every time he coughed and shit, brain came out. Nice. Anyway. This chick almost had it easy. She just fell to the fucking ground from the sky. She got pretty much everything broken. Fractured skull, 3 broken vertebrae, broken legs, broken ribs, fractured pelvis, temporarily paralyzed from the waist down. She also didn't even remember the accident. So tried to go back to being
No,
a flight attendant, but they were like, "Nah, it's too much publicity." So they put her behind a desk.
I still don't know how I fell. I can't remember it. I can remember grabbing the back of the X members of the scaffolding and breaking the pin off of it, but I don't know how I fell over it. I don't know how I broke the 2 2x4s that were halfway up either.
I got slapped off a roof with a fucking sheet of roof sheeting. It was a big commercial job. I was handing this guy 4x8 sheets all day. I mean, for like a week at a time, probably, a week of fucking full days. And it's one time when I heaved, I don't know, I don't know, one of us just wasn't on sync for that one hand motion. And the next thing I know, I'm on the fucking ground. All my tools right around me, like in a halo.
Yeah, because you all hit at the same time.
Well, ladies and germs, hop on. Now come when I basically figure out if it's last call and we start to end the show quickly, or if you guys will hop on and let it go for a little bit longer. I'm gonna have to go do some things probably after, I don't know, 1:30 or something. So we'll see how it goes there. But if you guys would like to, I don't know, one of you guys could be the host or whatever, and we could leave it running a little bit longer. So now's the time. If you guys would like to hop on and join the conversation, please do. Otherwise, we'll probably slowly start to wrap it up. Look at the nice horsey.
They don't call me horse because I run fast. What a beautiful animal.
That's what she said.
Ah,
You know why the city council had to fire the horse?
Why not?
Because he would never vote yay.
ah.
Just once, say yay.
Carrots.
Oh, look at that puppy
Aw.
If the
Toys
horse
had a-
eats carrots, then they eat carrots.
dog.
You know why they kicked the pony out of the choir?
Why?
What's that?
Because he was a little horse.
Ah.
I don't know if I think I might have coined that one. I probably not, though. I probably heard it somewhere and thought that I coined it.
Just don't steal it from Jay Leno or he'll steal it back.
Drive it
I'm
like
sure
you
it was
stole
an
it.
earworm, and I just remembered it someday.
Wow.
Surprised Bud hasn't supercharged his cart yet.
So this one, it's jacked up, but I've learned just to put around. Like, yeah, I don't want to. It has enough power that you can get probably crash.
You could probably get crashed.
Spam caller, yeah, fucker. Motherfuckers. These scammers just called the wrong fucking person. Trying to scam me. I'll get their asses later.
See, that's one thing in Thailand you don't get on your phone are any like sales pitch calls or any scam calls.
Yeah. Well, I've been
Illegal.
I spent most of the morning calling these bastards, wasting their time. I'm gonna do it to this guy after the show. Just tried to call me. I'm out of chode.
It's weird. Yeah, I never answer them, and especially most of them don't leave a message, and then that's a sign that it's just bullshit, or it's some like robot thing. But the few that, because like I guess I pay buck extra or whatever, they're supposed to block it. Most of them that come through is like some political thing where they're trying to it's like a politician trying to get you to send them money or some shit. Where it's like it's banned. You're not allowed to do that, but somehow politicians do it. It's stupid.
Yeah. And then I can't believe they're getting away with it. Shit. Like Spectrum. I don't know if anyone's heard of the company Spectrum. It was a fake Spectrum. They've been running around now for months. We've been trying to stop them. I actually called them earlier, like about 50 times in a row, and got like 2 or 3 same people. I was just giving it to them. It was funny. Yeah. I was swearing at them in Indian or in Hindi.
Well, I mean, I think this is where AI is gonna like really, yeah, that's a place that they're gonna employ it to manipulate people and sell shit to people and scam people.
No, they already do. It's not coming. It's already here. It's been here for a couple of
Yeah.
years, actually. There was a big story on NPR, maybe about 2 weeks ago now, that they were talking about. They can already voice dupe anybody, and you literally cannot tell the difference. You'll tell yourself, "Oh, I could tell the difference." No, you cannot tell the difference. It is literally a fucking dupe of whoever you know. And there's this a very particular scam that's going around that they basically call old people and pretend to be, let's say, a grandfather, a grandson, child, whatever else. All they need is 3 seconds of your voice, ever 3 seconds period of you talking, to completely dupe your voice and do basically an AI deepfake. Literally, 3 seconds is enough. It's hard to even visualize that could possibly be enough, but 3 seconds is enough to basically dupe anybody's voice in the world, and they can pretend to be your grandson being arrested by some fucking Colombian warlord or some shit. I don't even know. They can say anything they want. They can make it super plausible, and they make these are sophisticated entities so far that are doing these things. So they'll have multiple people with multiple numbers. They'll basically tell you, "Oh, your grandson is being arrested." This was the scam that was being talked about in the NPR story. Your grandson was arrested. Actually, it was the grandson that would call, "Hi, grandma. Or grandpa. I was arrested by the police. I was in a car accident. I hit another woman. Blah blah blah. They want bail. Da 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 da. Can you please send bail?" These are all pretty plausible things when you think about it. And then basically they give you a number. Your grandson, for all intents and purposes, gives you a number, and that number is for someone who knows the script and answers and says, "Hi, yeah, I'm freaking bail's bondsman, da 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 da," and basically you send 10
Yeah.
grand or whatever it is to the fucking bail bondsman who doesn't actually exist. This is a scam that, by the way, is in the billions of dollars every year already. So this is not something that's coming. I was really worried about my mom. My mom's gone now. So actually the one thing maybe I guess about not being here is that she's not going to fucking fall victim to stupid fucking scams. Everybody's grandparents are fucked, basically. If you
Yeah,
don't
like
tell
my
them,
mom.
everybody, because you'll get a call. I mean, it is so realistic you have no comprehension. Like it could be any of you that are listening, basically, that will get a call. It's someone that you care about or know, and they'll say, "Fuck, I just got arrested." Bud Kilowatt might get a call from Captain 420, and the voice of Captain 420, for all intents and purposes, will tell him a fucking story. We have to be really careful with this in the
Like
future.
a few months back when my mom got, she's in whatever a home now, and my niece is the like basically in charge. I was against it. I was like, what? But they shut down and took her cell phone and all that stuff away. And oh, even in her hospital room, she has a landline, her same old landline. And oh, some of it was because she'd fall prey to things and stuff, or that was the fear. And I was like, oh, not my mom. Shit, my mom was like a business manager. She's
Has
smarter
nothing to do
than
with savvy. No, the
yeah.
guy that was on the
Now,
phone, he
now
was a
she's like
fucking
80
lawyer,
some years
not a
old and
retired.
beginning of Alzheimer's and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
No, the
and
guy that they were doing the story with, he was not retired. He's an active. I mean, granted, he was probably a little bit on the older side, but he was definitely still working. And this is a fraud lawyer and everything else. It's not what you would call a dipshit. Like very, very, very savvy. And he almost fell for the scam. That's how
well,
savvy these
and
people are.
doesn't the whole thing of it's odds, right? Oh, if they send it out to 250,000 people,
Not these. That was the
one
Nigerian scams with
right,
the misspelling and everything else. This is different. These people are professionals.
target.
When you have a whole team basically working, that's the job that they go to every morning. You might go to work as a fucking pipe fitter or whatever, like actually that's your mom's job. But you might go to work as an
Fuck.
electrician and then they go to work basically scamming people pretty much.
I guess better than being a pipe fitter and laying pipe.
ED and grind in the punch. That was good.
So, shit, what was I gonna say? Fuck, I just derailed. Okay, never mind. It was scamming. Bud shoveling the shit.
Like always.
Old fashioned. Hello, everybody in chat.
I'm not exactly sure, but there's different grades to the horse poop.
Some high
And
quality
I'm
poop you got there.
not enough of a composter yet. I'm sure over years I'll realize, oh, that kind of poop when it's that way is the better composter or not. Or at this point, it's just all mixed together. But I do see that there's different grades to it.
Yeah, different textures. Yeah.
Sophisticated flavors.
Poop terps.
For the aromas of the aged terps, of the aged turds, one must fully appreciate them. Perhaps it's a acquired taste.
Oh my.
All seriousness though, like cities used to be full of animal poop, and it's really funny that that's probably one of the biggest differences between now and the past that we don't even really account for, because literally until the automobile, and well, actually even for fuck's sake, I just went through another piece of paper. God damn it! This was my last extra light paper. Now it's got a little tiny hole in it. Fucking whole sack anyway. Yeah, there used to be like horses everywhere because of course that's how everyone got around. But not only that, they used to have pigs and everything else in town. Because refrigeration, everything else was a lot rarer thing. So like they just had regular livestock in town, just hanging out, maybe being fed, maybe living there for a while before they get slaughtered on and on. So you'd have like just animals hanging out. So bizarre to think about it. There was a whole occupation called gong farmer, which was basically the person who, before sewers, they also scooped up human shit, but after sewers, it was mostly just animal shit. They would literally scoop up dung from the city and take it out and sell it to farmers outside the city.
Looking back in the day, before we had roads and automobiles, we had horses and wagons.
Mhm.
Someone in the town had to go around and shovel up the shit.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I'm saying. The shit didn't just go away.
Yeah. Oh, damn it. I just stepped in a puddle of shit. I mean, a
Right.
pile of shit.
With horses, my imagination went to like, at one point when hemp grew wild, or even was cultivated in fields. And at that point, horses were an important part of humans' existence. Yeah, horses fed on hemp. They had to, like, they eat everything that's on the ground green, right? They like, oh yeah, you feed them hay and dry stuff, but they really want fresh. Yeah, if they came across hemp, they probably munched on it, and and probably like things that uh, their health was better when they consumed so many cannabinoids or whatever back in that era when there was hemp and horses, wild horses over history. Oh, had to come across patches of hemp. It was probably one of their favorite things, right?
Mustangs.
Hmm.
You
I was
know,
just going
Those
to
were the
say,
wild horses.
I was reading about something super interesting not too long ago. Um, Gosh, where can I find a chart? I'm looking for it right now. Anyway, broadly speaking, that horses, of course, they evolved a long time before humans came along. But basically, and interestingly enough, they evolved in North America and then went extinct here, and then were brought back. This is kind of a side note, one of the reasons why Native Americans didn't really have to do shit with horses, they didn't have to really coddle them or anything else, is that horses literally fucking evolved here. So they took to it like a fucking duck to mud or some sure, a duck to water. The horses really, really enjoyed the climate here with the grasslands and everything else. They had just died off previously. I guess the assumption is due to predation mostly. Anyway, where am I trying to find this fucking chart? I can't find a fucking chart yet. Anyway, I'm going to just explain it that basically human beings have been breeding horses for thousands of years. You probably didn't know that already. That's not new information. But basically, as part of that evolution, horse size has been increasing precipitously, dramatically. And so, for example, the thing that I was reading about was that basically in ancient Egypt, for example, the horses were a lot smaller and just physically smaller, basically couldn't tow as much or anything else, couldn't carry as much, and so on. And so you had to have, for example, two horses for a chariot. And so the high technology of the time was basically a chariot rider with his two fucking horses. But a couple thousand years later, by the time the Romans came along, horses already had been bred big enough that you could literally ride on top of a horse as a warrior. And that led, of course, to the Mongols and everybody else, basically, that even continued to breed faster and bigger and stronger horses. Anyway, it had occurred to me that the human impact on horses had a big deal with the size. I'm not finding a picture right now. Maybe I'll find it after the show or something and remind myself or something. Anyway, anybody in the chat that knows what I'm talking about, feel free to chime in.
well, now that my Instagram knows I like horses, I get a lot of these these videos, and there's these certain, I don't know all the names. I'm not smart, know it all. These monstrous muscle, like this one crazy breed of horse that's like gigantic and so muscular that you're like, holy shit! It looks like a super
Clydesdale.
bodybuilder. But no, Clydesdale's a different thing. They seem to be in Europe, like in Eastern Europe. The videos from people there that have these like, yeah, I don't even know what, like, I should, though there's a name for that breed of horse. But yeah, it's this gigantic, strong brute of a
Hmm.
horse. Some of the videos were like, oh, it's a stallion, and it's that, like, oh, you can tell it's a breeding operation, and there's some like regular size female horse in the ring, and this big ass, huge, giant, dominating brute of a horse is gonna mount that horse, right? Well, it's breeding's breeding, right?
Giddy up.
Like it's not much different than cannabis breeding and the basics of it. Other than some things humans have bred for thousands of years without any prohibition, without any hindrance. Cannabis has been disrupted a few times during history. And late, like the reefer madness or whatever you want to call that, the last 100 years, really, like we're digging out, trying to piece the pieces together after uh, being in so prohibition that we don't even really have tracking of our genetics and stuff.
By the way, it
Where
might be a draft horse of some kind. There's several of these Belgian draft horses, and
yeah,
what are
there's a lot
these?
of
I'm
different
just looking at these.
breeds of horses, all really bred with purpose. Like like oh, there's these horses that do logging, like that were part of like hauling big trees way back before they had machines, and that's a whole kind of breed of horse. They're not that popular anymore, but like the workhorse.
Well, everybody's heard the word horsepower. Now they all that's where it
Hmm.
comes from.
Exactly.
The horse. Horse, of course.
Well, it must have been a whole like it's obviously 100 years ago or more, but like when yeah, you rode your horse into town and tied it up where in front of the store and it shit everywhere and like dealing with horse I wonder, yeah, like, that had to have been a whole thing when everyone depended on horses.
If I could have a horse now to ride around town, I would.
Well,
Cracks me
there's
up that these horses are all basically evolved to, or not evolved, bred to pull beer around. Like all fucking draft horses, they're literally just made to pull beer around.
yeah.
Look at
Like we
Bud.
love, like if aliens come here, they'll be like, "Oh, you people are something else. You love beer so much that you developed horses just to pull it." Anyway,
Yeah, but that's
That's
how
what
we are.
that's what Budweiser uses too. They
yeah.
use the horses. They actually, I think they had a
The
commercial where
Clydesdales.
they had horses and they pulled Bud.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are Clydesdales that are
There you
basically
go.
bred for that and certain look. They're not that, other than Budweiser having, they're not that popular of a horse.
Pity Ryan's not here anymore. Keep wanting to talk to him about that new OpenAI Sora. That shit's fucking bonkers. Was I just gonna look up Mongol horses,
And your father smelt of elderberries.
right?
Chat.
Mongolian horse. Largely unchanged since the time of Genghis Khan. Their national beverage is horse mare's milk.
Good one, Patricia Walker. I've fallen and
Similar
I
to
can't get
kefir,
up.
produced from a liquid starter culture. They also have a fermented version of this, I think. They're heavy on the fucking dairy over there, that's for sure. Why is there no link for the freaking Przewalski horse?
Exactly, St. Pete. Two-minute warning, everybody. That'd be 420 for me, for Canada.
Really? Hmm. 33 chromosome pairs compared to your normal 32 for a regular horse. Anyway, we don't have
Thank
to
you.
read all about horses here. Well, I think maybe we'll freaking bounce here, ladies and germs. Maybe we'll call it for the high noon. Are we going to be doing a takeover on Saturday? What do you think, D?
Yes, sir.
Right on.
Ah,
Good to hear it. Excuse me. What was I going to say? I keep freaking hiccuping, and here comes hardcore. Oh, maybe we'll talk about that freaking AI shit. It's just bonkers, honestly. Like people are wondering, legit, if it's going to put basically all of Hollywood out of business next year. Nobody really knows the answer to that. Not only that, it has the capacity to be exquisitely dangerous for speaking of scams and everything else. Deep fake porn, you fucking name it. What's up, hardcore? You know what I'm talking about? The Sora?
Oh yeah.
That shit is beyond bonkers. Like people probably think like, oh, Fumi's exaggerating a little bit. No. I'm talking about you'll be able to type like it's actually lunatic how good it is. Like you'll be able to type, I want to see D zombie and hardcore sword fighting in ancient Rome, and it will fucking create literally that shit. And it will be, if you really pick it apart, you might be able to tell it's AI, but this is the first version of it right now. I shudder to think, even in 6 months, not to mention
I
a year
imagine
or whatever.
if there's a video of you out there doing anything untoward, I don't know. If you're in a porno somewhere, pretty soon that's not going to be a secret anymore. I don't think. With the facial recognition and all that shit, like
That's different technology. I see what you're pointing at. Yeah.
I'm
What
in
am I
trouble.
trying to say? That is going to be actually an issue for some people. There are a lot of people, I think, that rely on anonymity and everything else from, it's certainly not super uncommon for people to have private photographs or videos of old relationships. And sometimes their exes will actually put that shit on the internet. But of course, the internet is gigantic, right? But if someone were able to, how do I put this? Were able to actually do a facial search for you on the internet, essentially, they could find every single example of you on the internet. So yeah, for example, I've known a few people who, ex-boyfriends or whatever, have put out porn of them basically
what was that
online, and the
website?
only thing kind of saving them is that nobody knows where it is. Go ahead.
What was that website back in the day where the guy it was all like revenge nudes and shit.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. He got sued to shit, but yeah, that went on for a long time.
There was a famous leak that's about the name of it, but
I don't remember the fucking name. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That was some scummy shit, honestly. He made a lot of money at it too. I remember people saying that he really basically walked himself into a lawsuit. Like if he had not been such a scumbag, he would have gotten away with it. Anyway, who knows if that's true? But basically, I was thinking about a different thing when you were talking about that. I was thinking about how up until today, literally, basically, or maybe not today anymore, but up until recently, video of someone doing something was evidence of them doing it. So, for example, if the police had video of you stabbing someone over and over again, I mean, that's evidence of a fucking crime, right? But now that is no longer going to be evidence of a crime because you'll literally be able to say anything you want. I could say whatever president, if there's any video of them existing, or even honestly, if the computer can interpolate the video, Franklin Roosevelt, fucking Nixon, anybody, I could say, I want to see a snuff video where Nixon is killing Roosevelt. You'll be able to do it. And if there's no filters, basically, that the AI put it in place ahead of time, basically to avoid that, you'll be able to create a video like that. And that goes for anything that you can imagine. It is bonkers good. I should show people what I'm talking
But
about.
just like something I thought
next
about
fucking
when you're
level.
talking about like revenge, okay, guys predominantly would be the people that would put up some video of their ex or whatever that way. I imagine the amount of women that do it back or do it is like minuscule percent, right? So that's like some dude thing.
yeah, but she looked right at that camera.
Yeah, but
So this
still,
is
that's like, yeah. I mean,
this is
everyone
AI
knows
video.
that's like crossing the line of like revenge
Okay, the
type
resolution is terrible.
behavior. But there's people that do it. Congress, they talk about it in front of Congress because it's such a issue of what the
Why is the
penalties are going to
resolution
be
so
for
bad?
that.
There's already been some high profile like vocal deepfakes though, hasn't there? Like scams, like phone scams.
That's what I was talking about earlier. Yeah, that's,
That's
believe it or
so.
not, quite a bit easier to fake, honestly. Make
Pork
it
cutting
so
Indian.
it's so
We
much
just hear
TV
the guy
quality just
talking
because
about
it's
the
on.
California governor.
Here we go. It's
Deepfakes all
potato quality
around.
because of that.
I can't do Arnold, but
Welcome to
Arnold.
California.
he's not a tumor.
When I blow the whistle, get a toy.
Get to the
So
chopper.
this is a fake video. This is literally made up. You might be thinking to yourself, "Oh, sure, Fuminor, this is like Photoshop." No, 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 no. They texted
Stick
a
around.
prompt, woman doing some shit with mashed potatoes or whatever, and this is what came out. Let's
And
go back to
they've
this.
got AGI already. They've got to.
No, but we would probably know if they
They're
had
close
something that
to it.
advanced.
From what
Yeah, not too far.
I watch a lot of nerd shows, and that like I don't know, the exponentials just keep going up. Crazy
So
shit's
this
gonna
is a
happen.
drone flying
Me
through the
too.
Coliseum and turns into a butterfly.
Big pork.
Yeah, but see where it flickered at that one spot? That's horseshit. I could have done that.
Oh shit! Here, oh, missed
It's
it.
really something else. I don't think anybody knows where this is going to go, and it's hard to imagine that it's not going to be used super irresponsibly. For the first,
Fucking
obviously,
scam.
thing, it's going to be used by the rich to abuse everybody else. That's the most frustrating things about these things is that it could be used to liberate mankind, but unfortunately, it probably won't be. That's my
But
biggest
isn't
fear.
it going to
But
be?
it could be a very democratic thing. So, as many people as it puts out of business, because it probably will, there will be people that it in some sense puts into business. Because imagine, there's the expression, fuck, was it Feynman or Einstein basically said, oh, fuck, what was the expression? Anyway, the expression boiled down to, I don't need to fucking go through poetry right now, that a lot of really smart people have died in ditches in a fucking rice field somewhere without access to being a goddamn genius. Things like this online, almost everybody these days, even in Africa and Asia, wherever else, have access to the internet through their smartphones and everything else. It's been really interesting how people leapfrogged all the technology in Africa, for example. Everyone assumed like, oh, they're never going to get internet, but they did through their smartphones. They just literally leapfrogged all the technology that the West went through, and so now everyone has access to Facebook and everything else. So if some kid in Africa basically wanted to, they could create potentially a Hollywood movie if they wanted to with technology like this, if they have the right story and everything else. But I'm worried that for every amazing kid that creates some awesome
Right on.
shit, there's going to be 10 executives that fuck the rest of
But
us.
isn't our biggest threat at the beginning would be China and Russia using it to manipulate things? They already show that that's part of their strategy, and then with this
Most likely,
technology,
yeah. No, they're talking about
isn't
propaganda
China
is going to
like
be an issue for
super
this election,
invested
not
in
the
it?
future elections, but this one. Yeah.
Like as far as like fake, deep fake, and some fucking campaign of misinformation or whatever the fuck.
He's not a
Mm.
deep fake.
It's really already doing it. Like some scale it's happening. Like,
Hmm.
yeah.
No, it's
Have
here
you,
already.
have you seen the one guy, the comedian that does Dr. Phil? I
Mm-mm.
can't think of his name, but yeah, he does a Dr. Phil live show and it's fucking hilarious.
Mm. But is it deep faked or what?
No, he just gets in character and he wears makeup and shit.
Mm.
Like he was been a guest on Kill 20 and shit.
Mm.
Um, like Bill Burr was just on his show. Not that Bill Burr's matters, but
Anyway, yeah, we'll see where this technology goes. It's going real fast, and a lot of people don't know where it's going to go.
I'm
Jeffrey
I'm
Katzenberg, guy that runs, well, he's like co-founder of DreamWorks, and he runs a bunch of different animation studios and stuff. He's been saying for a while now that 90% of animators are going to be out of work in the next couple of years thanks to AI.
oh yeah,
People have assumed he's
coders,
wrong
everyone.
because he's a terrible fucking person, which he is. But looking at Sora, I don't know, man.
But I mean, the Loom didn't put out the fucking um the textile industry. The car
Yeah.
didn't put out the transportation industry.
Oh, that's not listen to three and a
But
half
you can
hours.
do the work of 200 people with one prompt at the AI machine. The AI can put not necessarily all humans out of work, but 95% of them. You know what I mean?
I'm convinced that
Last night,
GPT-4 that it's got a whole bunch of restrictions on it because like it's got to be smart, like especially like if you try to say if you wanted to you want it to make a billboard with like a paragraph of words on it, it's not gonna be able to do that for you. It'll maybe get like 4 or 5 words if you continually train it on those 4 or 5 words. If you keep trying to make it repeat itself, it'll kind of pick up and learn. But otherwise, if you just like try to make it spell something right away, it's gonna fuck it up. But it almost fucks it up like in a way that any graphic designer worth a pinch of salt could fix it. They can move things around and cut and paste and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know.
well,
So I mean, it can write you the deck or it can write War and Peace verbatim, and then they can hide like a sentence of Chinese in there,
Mm.
and it'll tell you, oh wait, what's the Chinese doing in War and Peace?
Sneaky Chinese.
last night, Lex Friedman interview was with that Ackerman guy, 3.5 hours. And that guy's a fucking mega investor that uh guess you might consider him one of the better good investors. And Lex is all about AI. I think his name's Ackerman, something Ackerman. His track record's pretty off the charts. But a lot of the conversation is like yeah, he's been early investor in a lot of tech shit. That's why he's Mr. Billionaire. Uh, yeah, he had a lot of like different from the investment standpoint of like part of being a good investor is uh, uh, knowing the future or like being right about how things are going to play out in the future and the timing of it. And yeah, it was interesting conversation. A lot of it about AI, but and how to like how the how he's going to invest in it or already has invested in it due to what he sees the future playing out. Which yeah, that's how they make all that money.
We one
Yeah,
winner.
I don't know if you know about, but this Ackerman guy, I think that's his name. Yeah, he's had a lot of right calls over the years with investment. He makes Buffett's numbers look look amateur.
Hey,
I
Fumi, I
doubt
gotta
it.
get
Buffett's pretty much
on
one of
this.
the best investors in history. Go ahead.
Yeah, but Ackerman's like younger version that has made some good calls.
What are you showing? Hold on. Canvas is what are you
So this
looking
is
at?
a. I'll scroll to the. So this is a few
Oh,
years
this
ago
is the
now
cannabis
already.
on Petrie, huh?
Yeah, this company they take cannabis cells from the plant and they grow just straight up trichomes on these cells.
Hmm. So it's almost like stem cell for cannabis. How funny.
And I'm just wondering if what the taste is like, because are all the cannabinoids in there? What's in the green part of the flower?
I would assume that everything that
There's
isn't
something in there.
basically part of we were talking about this the other day. I would assume that basically everything that is produced in the trichomes probably is still there. So if all the terpenes and cannabinoids that are produced in how do I put this? If the strain is known for, or that particular varietal is known for that flavor I'm not fucking saying this very well at all. Some cuts, purple cuts, for example, a lot of the flavor comes from the bud meat. Most of the anthocyanins, for example, come from the bud meat. From what I understand, skunk, for example, it's an alcohol ester that actually produces that, or anyway, regardless, it's not an actual quote unquote terpene. It's in fact, it's not a terpene. It's basically something that's not a terpene. It's an ester, an alcoholic, or a thiol. That's what it is that basically produces that aroma. That, from what I understand, is not produced in the trichome heads or stalks. It's produced in the bud meat. So you wouldn't be able to replicate a skunk, presumably, with that methodology, unless, I don't know, unless the freaking trichomes could somehow produce that. But every other aroma, I wouldn't be surprised. Tropicana cookies and fucking Girl Scout cookies and whatever else. I think most of the flavor basically comes from the trichome heads.
But some of the flavor's got to come from the bud part, the meat or the green shit. Because
For
I
sure,
mean,
like I say, any granddaddy purple, for example.
That process might be just grown like not even you dealing with the flavor taste. That'll be something they add in later, right? They're just creating.
I wonder how much of the taste is in those, just straight up. It's got me fucking. That's like,
There's
wow.
probably
I
some
just thought
basic
I just said it like it was a crazy thing. Like, yeah, maybe someday they'll be just growing trichomes in three petri dishes. And then I just Google it and I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
The more complex things, it probably can't replicate. Some of the basic things it probably can, right? I mean,
well, what they're trying to do now is they're trying to teach
you
cells
remember that
what to do, or how not to teach them, to tell them, because like how cells work, like
when these people mix
intelligence at all levels, crazy.
Terpene mixes, right? Yeah, they replicate like some of the main terpenes, right? But within all strains, there's all kinds of ones at very, very low levels, and unless you match every single one of those,
but there's gonna be. I mean, they'll have.
That's why a lot of the artificial things, nope, because they just
there's a lot of scientists that have been getting them flavors down just right. They know just what fucking fruit they need from what tree to make it taste like vanilla or something. What red dye they need to do to make it taste like fucking purple.
Well, but making it taste like vanilla, lemon, certain things, that's easy. It's the complex part. And it's
vanilla is complex as fuck.
With the AI, they'll be able to fucking, once the AI beats the next sommelier, then what happens? Fucking. our sommeliers out of business?
Some of it is their access, like on the marketplace to all the different, and that's I remember this guy, Trichrome Ken, in 2013, saying that cannabis is a more valuable crop for, for terpene, flavonoid. All he's into what he call cold trap extraction, because on the open market, many terpenes are lemon and basic ones are cheap, pine, but when you get into the complex ones, they fetch a price that make them the most
Well, what's that?
valuable commodity and
What's
on the
that fucking flower? Saffron?
yeah,
Is
but
that
cannabis has the ability we've seen over the years to pretty much produce A through Z
Mm.
of 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 of
Yeah,
terpenes and
it
all
really
the
does.
different flavonoids. I mean, like in my life, I can't imagine that we've come to this point with so many flavors of beyond every candy, every fruit, everything you
Mm.
can think of. Somehow breeders have bred cannabis to represent that. That's not in like like mint has a few varieties, chocolate, lemon. Most other agriculture, rosemary is rosemary. You know what I
but
mean?
really, when it comes down to it, I mean, there is a lot, but there's not a whole lot of compounds that form together. Like I imagine, when we have our own smell-o-vision, it's only going to be like 40 little canisters that is separate,
Well, yeah, I
that's
think
from.
like the main, like if you see a legal brand and they have some terpene levels on their packaging, yeah, I think those are like the basic terpenes that like uh if you really were science, you would dig in and then there's each cannabis has very complex, and some of the things are like 0.000 amount, like
If you
almost
want to, if you want to get scared shitless, search
non-traceable is what makes that weed what it is,
search
right?
Google patents for cannab or for terpene. I forget what words you got to use, but so like there's people that have literally every combination of terpenes that you can, like one. So the one patent will read something like um a sativa dominant, where and it'll be like fucking with 40%. I mean that's a huge number, but like 4% linalool, fucking 3.2% limonene or some shit, or fucking 2% beta caryophyllene, and it'll go down this whole list, and that'll describe a plant,
I hope shit like that isn't
and then
patentable for real.
well, it's been patented
Patent
by
trolls are the
it's
worst.
not.
There's a camera company called Red, and there's a lot
Put
of
it
people who
down.
really like Red cameras. They're movie cameras. They're not like photo cameras. They're cinema cameras, basically. They're really expensive, so you wouldn't just go out and buy one just on the street somewhere. The cheapest one they have, by far the cheapest, is like $6,000, $8,000. They're normally like 30, 40,000 bucks. Anyway, they patented internal raw compression, basically the concept of internal raw compression. And ever since they did it like 20 years ago, and ever since then, no other camera company has really been able to do internal raw unless they licensed that fucking technology with Red. And so Red, because they're a teeny tiny garbage little company, basically, they were founded by the former owner of Oakley. They have to basically open up their lens mount and everything else because they don't have any technology like that. So they licensed with Canon, and Canon was one of the only companies that could actually use the RAW. But basically, they're essentially patent trolls, and they've kept that very overly broad technology for themselves. The concept of internal raw recording. That's ridiculous that they could own something so simple. But basically, someone is going to patent the same thing in cannabis, where they're going to say, uh, green buds that have fucking limonene in it, and it's
I
gonna
own the
fucking be a
photos.
patent that they can hold, and literally anyone that basically when cannabis becomes legal is gonna have to either pay a licensing fee or just get fucked when that particular patent is enforced. It's gonna be fucking garbage, honestly. I'm really worried about it, and especially for example with AI agents that OpenAI is releasing. You'll be able to go through and just basically tell your OpenAI agent to file 1 million patents basically on every single possible combination and permutation of cannabis. And the poor patent clerks that are already wildly overwhelmed are just going to stamp yes on every one of them because they don't know anything about what they're doing. And they have to get the work done. And so literally a bunch of companies are probably going to take over cannabis through the stupidest possible means. I'm really worried about it, actually.
You say red. Did you know that Swing Line didn't have a red stapler until the movie Office Space?
I was told I could take the stapler.
That stapler was a one-off. They made it just for the movie, and Swing Line got so many requests for red staplers that they then put out red staplers.
Quebec. Quebec. Shit.
And Nvidia, they kind of own the fucking. They're kind of the same thing right now, aren't they? Where they kind of own the. What is it, the
It's a
gaming
jump
chip
to
or whatever?
conclusions, Matt. Get it?
Because he's a little horse.
Yeah.
That fucking movie.
A little peanut.
That movie in Tropic Thunder. Fucking pure love. Anyway. Trumpelstiltskin's fucking shoes. They've got a red sole on them. They might be sued by Christian Louboutin because he patented, or no, trademarked rather, the specific red shade on the sole of a shoe. Look it up. It's like the fucking Louboutin thing. Basically, they have a red sole, and
That's
wouldn't you
hot.
know it? Fucking Mango Mussolini used that color of red for their fucking shoe, so they're gonna get sued. They're gonna get sued by the fucking people. Anyway,
That's hot.
that's hot.
Didn't Paris Hilton copyright That's Hot or something?
Probably. She's actually not a dumbass, apparently.
Would you like fried?
You go to Wharton schools, probably. I imagine she went to Wharton or something.
I don't think it's that hard for her to say. Would you like fries with that, sir?
Funny, funny, funny.
Just kidding.
Crisps. I call them crisps here.
What are we talking about?
Poutine.
Hey, poutine. Poutine's awesome. Hey? Who has poutine? No, I want poutine.
Like a Mexican poutine on some refried beans?
What? What the fuck?
I don't know. I'm just throwing shit out there. I don't think I've ever had poutine.
Poutine's awesome. It's French fries with gravy and cheese.
Yeah, I don't know why people make fun of it. It's fucking good.
Usually, shit, what's the name of that cheese? I can't think of it. Squeaky cheese.
Squeaky cheese, yeah. Cheese curds.
Yeah, squeaky
Damn it.
cheese.
Mozzarella.
No.
I love squeaky cheese.
Ugh.
The Tillamook factory, we got some people don't know the brand. Well, probably a lot of people know Tillamook because it's kind of nationwide now with mainly they're famous for their cheddar. That's their like the biggest fucking product is the aged cheddar, honestly, the aged white cheddar. Anyway, Tillamook is here on the Oregon coast, basically. It's the big farmer collective, basically. I guess a lot of cheese dairies and stuff are collectives. But anyway, if you don't know, it's a fucking farmer collective, kind of. And it's not a communist collective or something. They make tons of money. But what was I going to say? They make cheese curds. Actually, they make cheese curds from several different cheeses, but traditionally it's from the cheddar. So you can actually buy it, and it's fucking super squeaky. I really like it. But last time I went and bought some goddamn Tillamook squeaky cheese at the Tillamook fucking factory that they completely revamped, not to be cooler, but to have more consumer stuff. The goddamn cheese was not squeaky. I was pretty pissed off. But normally it's very squeaky. So you bite into it.
Squeaky from?
Squeak, squeak, squeak. What's that?
It said squeaky from?
Mm,
You guys heard of,
no,
like,
it's just cheese curd, pretty much.
got
It's cheese curd before it's like pressed and aged and stuff.
Have you
So
heard of
go
Land O'Lakes? Is that a brand that gets outside of here?
That's in Minnesota. Yeah, I've heard of it.
Or
I've
like-
bought it. I've definitely eaten Minnesota butter.
My great granduncle that started 4-H, he worked for after he retired, because he worked he was the president of 4-H for like fucking 30 years or 40 years maybe, and then he worked in Washington D.C. with 4-H clubs, and then he founded the first 4-H in that town I was just in, but what was I say? He also fucking after he retired, Kellogg's hired him, and he worked for fucking Kellogg's for like 15, 20 years, like
Hmm.
him how to grow grains and shit. I
There you
don't know.
go. Right on.
I have a
Well,
question for you then.
speaking of food, so Scotty, who's a horse transporter, he's on a layover here at the ranch for a few days. He's like a super chef. So, and
Does he
I
beam him
invited
up?
my partner and over. There's a few people coming. Last night, I had a sample of the short ribs that he cooked in a few hours, but those are meant to marinate overnight. And so that's like part of the appetizer. But we're having beef Wellingtons, and
Mm.
supposedly he makes them like as good or better than anybody ever. And
Right on.
yeah, so I'm like, as the sun is seeking low, yeah, it's going to be a big dinner. I'm looking forward to it,
Mm.
especially more of those short ribs, man.
Yeah, I can imagine.
They were little chewy because he did it on the fast track, but oh, once they marinate overnight, those are good.
Mm. Folks are recognizing Tillamook in the chat, by the way. I'm glad you guys have it. It's a really, they have like a, what do they call it? Yeah, it's Tillamook Cheese Factory, I think they call it. And they have a bunch of ice cream. Like basically,
Well,
most
it's a
people just buy
national
a shitload of
brand.
ice cream
I
there.
mean, even
Pardon?
Tillamook is national brand. They're even stocked
Yeah.
at every Walmart across the country that
Oh.
I know. I love there's cheaper cheeses, but uh, the slices or just the block, their cheese is better than house brands, we'll say.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just gonna say they're I kind of like all their cheeses. The pepper jack and what they even have a
Oh,
jalapeno. You it almost only comes in the slice unless you get it at the factory. But I really love their sharp cheddars. And I just saw the other day. I have some of their 50 or 18-month aged in my fridge, but the Costco I saw the other day has a 5-year aged. I was like, fuck, I gotta get that when this one runs out. Anyway, it's
Well,
good shit.
didn't Tillamook basically start as a dairy? And like
Pretty much,
that's why they have
it's a. I don't know how it started, but now it's basically a cooperative of dairy farms around the coast. Funny thing is, they're basically mostly coastal dairies, but it's not like it's on the coast, and people assume that the coast is always like fishing villages and whatever. And it's like, no, it's a total dairy town. Pretty much, Tillamook is right on the coast, but it's a dairy town.
They don't
hello,
have to pay for
Wisconsin.
that much fencing.
What's that?
They don't have to pay for as much fencing.
Right. That's it. Cows are like, no, man, I'm gonna go surfing.
You know,
Woo."
statistically speaking, there's probably at least a handful of people out there that snort like craft powdered cheese. That's the thing that they do. You would think. If
Never
not in
occurred
this
to me, but there
universe,
is
in
someone who
another universe.
does everything basically. So you're probably right. There's probably somebody who sits there and just like with cocaine, they basically like cut up the freaking powder to the cheese and then snort it
I
up their
can't get enough of
nose.
that cheese.
hey,
Like
Did you
fucking
get a
like
yeast infection or
Chester
something?
cheater or
Fuck
something
me.
like that. I
is
think.
the
Well, I
captain
think that was
still here?
that was probably a cartoon short on like Family
Why
Guy
do
or
your
something.
sinuses have? I don't even got it.
Where
Yeah,
Chester
it's so
Cheetah does a
gross.
line of it.
Because even
Probably
this
got that
morning,
idea.
I stopped at the store. I didn't eat anything, but I was out of chocolate milk, which, oh, I have the chocolate. I could just make milk and chocolate. But the reason that I got into liking chocolate milk, like in the last couple of years, is because the captain, 420, because in Thailand, he's a chocolate milk guy, but it's not easy to attain good chocolate milk over there. And then somehow that led to me starting to buy chocolate milk. And even a couple times buying, oh, at the one store, they have like an expensive chocolate milk because it's organic, whatever, but it's good.
And
Yeah,
they're probably way closer
I
to the
now,
where the chocolate
I, I basically stock,
cow is
I
growing.
always have chocolate milk in my fridge,
Does
which I,
chocolate milk
for
come from
years,
chocolate
I
cows?
never had chocolate milk.
uh,
I was influenced by Captain and yeah, if you remember, yeah, it's hard to get good chocolate milk in Thailand, supposedly.
I know that if you feed a cow onions, it'll be fucking shitty milk. At least
okay.
I've heard that somewhere.
Good to know. Next time I have a cow and an onion, I'm gonna stay away.
You know, that could be like a really racist thing with one letter changed. some Vietnamese shit. Never mind. I'm fucking horrible.
Get it? Any sharper and you'd need a permit. Because the cheese is so sharp. They have extra sharp.
So I wanted to ask, do they still have the 4-H club in the States? We don't have anything like that. Like we have Boy Scouts and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That
I
stuff
should
still
be
exists.
better
Still
up
around,
on it.
like
There's
the kids raise their own chickens or
there's
sheep.
tens of thousands of clubs.
It's
forget the
usually at
number.
the county fair, and almost any county that has any form of ag in our country has a county fair system.
Oh.
Yep, those started. My great grandpa started those in Alexandria, Minnesota, because he was a teacher, and in a rural community, a lot of the farmers were immigrants from like Sweden or Norway or whatever, where they didn't Germany, where they didn't speak fluent English, and they were kind of looked down upon from the city folk and whatnot. And he kind of integrated farm life into living. It was a different time back then too, like when they were first civilizing the Indians and whatnot. I don't know.
Oh fuck!
But he started it by starting one of the first. They call it a corn club, where he gave corn seed to his students, and then kind of that became the county fair, and then like I guess there's a big 4-H pavilion down in the Twin Cities called fucking named after him at the state fair here. It's crazy. I didn't know about this guy until COVID hit, and I started doing genealogy research and shit. Great grandma's little brother. I also found out that like my another wing of my family or whatever fucking branch, where they call them Germans from Russia. You know about this group of people, Jimmy? There's like
native Germans from Russia. Yeah.
yeah,
A bunch of them in World War II went back and fought with the Germans.
oh yeah.
Crazy.
Oh.
But yeah, they were, in fairness, not all of them did. There were a bunch of them that lived basically in communities all around the Volga River and stuff. Yeah, straight up,
Yeah, I
just
would say the
basically German
Volga is
settlers,
there.
pretty much.
Yep, that's where my mom's paternal line was there for 3 generations. But I like to,
The
like
Volga.
my other German ancestors, like where I get my Polish name, my dad's line. They never were in Poland technically. Like it's present day Poland, but it was West Prussia when they were there, and then it was Germany for a while, but it became Poland after the wars and shit. But one of my perhaps relatives that I've talked to in Poland, he seems to think that Korkowski is Korkow is a village in Ukraine right now that so I'd be like Slotska or whatever, fucking nobility.
Kharkiv or what? What are you talking about?
What's that?
I don't know what village you're talking about.
Poland, they're
Oh,
called
like
Poland.
in like how Polish are named. It's either after like a town, and that's like your nobility because the town's named after you. Like if Lewandowski was a town, you'd be Lewandowski. And then those
That's not
are like
necessarily from nobility. You can just literally be from there, and
you
they'll name you that.
could buy sometimes you could buy that right or whatever, but basically that's how like that's how a lot of it was structured. And then after that it came like the profession names like like your like in all the other countries, where you're like you're God, I'm blanking on it, but like there's tons of them
Cooper,
like
Smith, yeah, fucking
Smith, yeah,
yeah,
They
100%.
are.
or like and that's where most of like the genie like the word etymology books, they say that my name comes from Cork because they were big. That was a big wine making industry, and maybe my family had cork property or made corks or something, or it was just always in the bottle. Who knows?
Stick a cork in it.
So there's a Korkova area of Warsaw. I was thinking Korkov,
I don't know.
Korkow, Korko. There's no
Okata?
town, Korko.
No,
I was
my
thinking.
family was from Lincoln Crease Flatow and Zlotau.
Hmm.
There's records that go back to 1583
Hmm.
because it's 400 years before me. But I'm stuck in 1776 is my I haven't found that leap yet. Like I got to
Hmm.
pour through all these fucking like the records are online, but it's all in like a lot of it's not indexed necessarily,
Hmm.
and it's in like it's crazy. Like it's all so all these records are in like fucking like all the churches back in the day. They the 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 priest or whatever the whoever was in charge of the task for every birth and every fucking death and every marriage, they'd log it into the books, church books. And but these guys, the way that they wrote, so a lot of them were written in Latin, and
AHBA.
this
Other
Latin script to where it'll be
Omaha.
just hundreds of pages of just this perfect it's artwork. I mean, these guys and some of them are better than others. Like you can just tell when you're going through different, and it's like, oh, this definitely isn't, Candace anymore. Where some of them are just so damn perfect in every way. Where like if they were to like have one little drop of ink fall in the wrong place, or if they misspelled a letter, they would. I'm guessing they would just start the whole page over again because it's uncanny how.
Oh, the scribes and stuff. No, they wrote
Yeah.
on
Well, and like I say, it's not. They're not even like
what are they
here's a
called?
couple of them,
Not vellum. Maybe it is
and
vellum.
they're not necessarily scribes. Like it's just every church had this logbook, and it was
Oh, I got you.
the priest's job.
Captain's log.
But like the way that all this, it looks like a computer printed that out.
Hmm.
But this
But
record
you
is
could,
from.
and people were not perfect. Like they made plenty of mistakes. Like with vellum and stuff, people would do. There's famous illuminated manuscripts where they used to do it on like basically on skin, essentially.
Oh yeah,
What's the fucking word for it? Is it vellum? Am I thinking of the wrong name? Anyway,
I
they
think
would
that might be
literally
right.
scratch out mistakes because it was like leather basically, and it had some thickness to it. There's a famous one where a cat pissed on the page while the monk. It was usually monks that basically did the scribing. They were scribes basically. They were called scribes. It was a profession. And the dude, I think it was while he was asleep, and the cat pissed on the page, and he basically like illuminated the manuscript to make fun of the cat. Illuminating. Hold on. Illumin.
So, here's a different word. Like here's one where the guy made mistakes and he's not perfect. Like you see, there's a little scribble right there.
Uh,
Or, some of this he fixed them okay to where you might notice them so much, but still, he's a little bit wobbly in his writing. It's not that other one was like it was like a fucking a printer did it. And some of the because I've seen a lot of these church books from all over the place. And the funny thing is that like the Church of Latter-day
it's
Saints
a different one.
is like the key holder to all of these books. I don't know when they went and collected them all, but like apparently they have an archive in Salt Lake City that like holds the genealogy of the world. Like if there's a record that you can find like evidence of it online, like on these like family search is a site that I use all the time. Like it'll show you the records there, but you have to go to the LDS center or like somehow get connected through a local uh whatever they call their buildings.
Cathedral or some shit.
Um I forget, yeah, whatever the Jehovah's Witness
Oh, Jehovah's Witnesses temple halls, I think.
yeah, Temple Halls, yeah. But like some of them like I think there's like bigger like I don't know if there must be bigger cities have like bigger one that's got a little bit more goats or whatever. But like I know for a fact though, like there's ones where like they say, yeah, you got to go to Salt Lake City and fucking log in on their computers in order to get this file. They own the microfiches or whatever.
Hmm.
Kind of
So
crazy.
here's
But
the
at the same time, they kind of saved them too because like a lot of the ones that come from especially Warren Torrance part of the world, um, the priests got out of there with those books, and there's no churches anymore. There's no towns anymore in a lot of the cases, but the books are still there.
You know, Fumi would know this. When they write like a
So Smash.
Torah for the Jewish faith, if there's any little mistake, they got to start over.
Well, that's basically what a lot of these church books are like. Or so another interesting thing too is like, having an illegitimate child was a big no-no. It barely ever happened because when it does, they'll either underline the name or they'll write the name of the child upside down, like as a
Fuck
I don't know.
you.
It's weird. Yeah.
Ugh.
Let's go to word smashed. We got in Atomic Spoon's words. We basically got an overtime. So cheers, everybody. Cheers, JD Green, and who else is in here? Southern Vermont Vintage is hanging. Samuel Olson is hanging with us. What's going? As Mr. Scotto's hanging too. What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Maybe we'll hang for another few minutes and then we'll bounce here. What's going on, Smashed? What's the word?
Nothing, just trying to get this shit done. Mixing up soil. Background off and shit. Background effects. Done. Go back. Split camera. Come on, you little fucker. So yeah, I had these pots sitting out for, I don't know, since my last garden. So I'm just mixing them all up in this big container, adding some worm castings, compost, some blunt ash.
So do
But
you have to follow the worms around and catch the poops or what? How do you get those?
I
That's pretty
just
much what you got
bought
to do. Yeah. Yeah. You got to follow each worm. It's hard work.
Worm
What
farming.
about
That's why they call it vermiculture, honestly, because
What
it
about
takes so much artistic sense.
Someone's worm.
what about putting little diapers on the worms?
That's no, that's
Mhm.
cheating. That's cheating. It's a lower quality of worm poop. You gotta time it just at the moment of defecation and stand there with a little basket. And
That's what that was the joke about fish shit. I'm like, what do they put the diapers on the fish?
Do you like fish sticks?
no, it's a pooper scooper. Apparently, Kanye West still does not get or enjoy that joke. Pretty fucking amusing.
Good.
Garrett B
I
says your
actually
worms
want a
don't wear
pot.
diapers. I mean, you'd be that's not how you do no till. That's I mean, you'd have to till the soil to change their diapers every day. Obviously, that wouldn't work out. Not to mention the pollution from that, the plastic like Pampers pollution. No, come on, you don't want to. I mean, you do want a topsoil mulch, but you don't want to have it mulched in diapers.
Was it PFCs or the PCCs? Whatever. Plastic.
Pampers seed kind of.
Ugh. Yeah, we just hanging out, just trying to get some work done. I gotta fucking clean. That's the biggest thing. I gotta come down here. I want to get all the soil in this. I'm gonna put it in the corner over there, and then I'm gonna put all my pots back there and just clean up a little bit. I gotta sweep. But yeah, this is where my tent used to be, right here.
D, why
Yeah.
don't we play night crawlers anymore?
This will be a great project watching a room come together.
hmm
And
Time lapse.
you'll be happier in a room than a tent. Tent has its pros and cons, but ultimately you're restricted to that space, where a room you can spread out a little more.
This 5x5 right here, I think someone's picking it up tomorrow.
You got
It's already
plenty of
gone.
ceiling height. That's really the most important thing.
I just got my seats.
Like build it where you could get the lights. Not that you always have to have them that high, but have the ability to have them fairly high at times. Where a tent, yeah, they have tents that have extensions, so you can make it a little higher, but one thing with tents, you're kind of boxed into this certain height.
Yeah, I can't wait. The HLG 100 is just sitting over there.
Well, hey, I've thrown some together, and then I've been more patient and monotonous in how I build it out. I would advise, yeah, Don't rush. Just a couple days here or there aren't going to make a difference. Try to set it up. You realize once you set it up, it'll next thing you know, a decade will go by, and that's your
Mhm.
setup.
Mhm.
A lot of times I set things up, and some of it was budget, where I'd be like, oh, well, for now, then in a couple months, we get the money, we'll upgrade, we'll fix it. And next thing you know, years and years went by. Like usually, whatever you start with is usually pretty, it's not as easy to upgrade along the way.
Yeah.
And think about one thing, think about how you're going to keep it clean and all that. Like, that's important too. Make it sure you can sweep it out and wipe it down easy.
Mm.
Mop all day long.
Yeah, I'm jealous of people who have epoxy floors and stuff. It makes it so easy to just spray off the
Yeah.
floor and whatever. Some people have epoxy fucking walls and shit, right? How expensive must that be?
Yeah, I always imagine if I had ever had enough money, I could like design and build my own house, right? Even if I was that rich, I would still have a passion to grow myself. Yeah, have a room that had like floor drains
Mm.
and like that was able to be hosed down completely every so often and scrubbed down. Basically floor drains. Like, yeah, it wouldn't be that hard if you had the right ceiling height. You just build a platform floor, and then you could put drainage underneath it. You know, uh, yeah, hydro, water. Yeah, having floor drains would be the first thing that would be a luxury or something that I would build a room with those.
Yep,
A lot
abundant
of
plumbing
apartment
and
buildings,
and
they
freaking
have
drains.
that. Like they have like a subfloor, and then so underneath they have drainage, floor drains. Yeah, let's go.
That'd be nice.
He's what?
So that would be nice. Drain.
Any of you hot rodders need some old steel wheels? I got tons of
Probably
like
J5 does. I bet you he needs some old steel wheels.
I got some Ford Wide
Wheels of
5
steel.
from like the 30s. I got a bunch of like artillery wheels and fucking bunch of old like these are probably international ones. Got a whole
Did
bunch
someone pay you in old steel for a job, or how did you end up with all these old wheels?
it was a farm that I did a lot of what do you call it? Salvaging, reclaiming, like here's an old barn door and whole bunch of barn wood and all and and for a couple of years there I sold like just tractor parts from this one farm.
Hmm.
It was a farm where the eldest member died. It had been a farm since the 1870s or something like that. And yeah, I mean, at first we were just bringing loads. Like we'd fill up the guy's big trailer. With the skid loader with scrap and bring it to scrapyard. You get like $300, for a good load or something like that. And then I
That's what
started
she
looking up
said.
eBay and looking up fucking serial numbers on tractor parts. Like this corn hopper right here. It just looks like a piece of fiberglass, and then there's a little metal thing on the bottom of it here. That seed or the disc fucking the seed. I forget what it's. But just this little part here is like $100, and then this thing will maybe go for another 100. Or like just one of these wheels. Like this one's an international. I mean, the guys that sell, that like there's like there's a few vintage wheel shops online or whatever. They would probably sell that for like $150, $200 for just one of them. But in order to get the most value out of them, you got to fucking get down. Like this one will go to a rat rod guy because it's all dimpled out in here. But he could bond out that and he can make this work because it's still the original wheels or whatever. Yeah, I've got a lot of wheels. I just haven't gotten around to fucking because there'll be a fucking a certain serial number on here, And sometimes there's certain marks that are on the front where certain ones, like if this one was from a 60s Corvette or something, it could be, $200-300 wheel. I got a bunch of really old ones. They're like, there's there's a yoke for an old log sleigh. And there's a lot more. There's a whole nother log sleigh underneath here. I've got 3 log sleds from the 1800s for some reason. One of them I buried, or I dug up from underground. It was like most of it was in tree roots, whatever. And then one of them I bought from an Amish auction, and then one of them I salvaged from in the woods.
By the way, just looking at those rusty wheels, it reminded me of this, that rust costs the Pentagon $21 billion a year. And there's helpfully a picture of a fucking rusty ship deck. Rust costs the Pentagon more money annually than many of its most expensive weapon systems, up to $21 billion per year, according to a Defense Department commissioned audit released in March of 2018, I guess. The report indicates the corrosion of metals that makes up modern weapon systems like fighter jets, ships, ballistic missiles, and nuclear weapons can sometimes approach 1/3 of the total operations and maintenance costs of those systems. The problem is so large, in 2002, the department established the Office of Corrosion Policy and Oversight to ensure big dollar weapon systems weren't taken offline by oxidation and to help branches determine how much money ought to be spent on rust prevention. Can you imagine introducing yourself? Hi, I'm the director of the Office of Corrosion Policy and Oversight.
So it's funny because
Does anyone want to fuck around with some really dry hemp from, I think, 2020, maybe it's 2019? You pay for shipping and I'll send you fucking much as you want. A lot of it's just leaves and shit from the looks of here, but like here's a bunch of buds. Like this has been in this contractor bag. It's probably a 30-gallon bag. But this bud right here still sticks to my hand. And that's been in there for, I think it's 2020.
Yeah.
Big hemp. I mean, there's pretty. So anyone wants to, fuck around and try to fucking, you want to figure out how to make dry stick and shit without having to ruin your weed. Let me know and I'll send you like fucking as much as the in a fucking whatchamacallit box at the post office. You even smash it into bricks like the fucking cartel for you.
Shen saying hello, long time no see, Shen. Good to see you, buddy. We'll probably give it another few minutes, folks, and then maybe bounce here at the 20. Been a good show. Good to see everybody. By the way, good to be seen on this channel finally. This channel's basically been down in one way or another for the last, honestly, 4 months, I think. Pretty frustrating, honestly, the amount of bullshit that we have to deal with. We have to deal with, basically, just as YouTubers on this platform. But in the meantime, folks, please do like, share, and subscribe to this show. Please do tell your friends about this show if you enjoy the show. Please do help me out if you can to do shows like this a little bit more. If you guys enjoy the content, if you enjoy the way it's going and wherever else, maybe not the direction it's going exactly, but you know what I'm trying to say. Cheers, Patricia. Good to see you. She says, takes me all weekend to smoke that. Holy cow, or it would take me all weekend to smoke that. By the way, thank you, Dee, for showing that. These are some of my new channels that please do subscribe to, just in case this channel goes down again like it fucking constantly does. Check out Dank Culture Collective. I haven't done any videos on that one yet, but hopefully that will be the channel for my tasting group when I hopefully bring it back in the hopefully near future. I keep saying hopefully, but again, nothing's for sure. Fumes of Gold, of course, that's the show that we have actually been, our channel we have been doing some videos on. So folks, we're going to try to, although I forgot even today to do that, and of course yesterday, we're going to try to do like the show on one channel and maybe the after show on the other. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe spread the risk around and maybe help grow some of those channels a little bit more. And of course, the main second channel, I guess, that we've been on for a while now is Fumidoro. So if you guys have not seen anything on this channel and wondered where we were, that's pretty much most of the time we were on Fumidoro, even though we got stuck there a couple times. We got taken down by trolls too. So Anyway, folks, by the way, if you do see trolls, kick them in the fucking nuts. Seriously, it's something else. The amount of innocent bystanders I see basically just kind of waiting around. I think a lot of people know who some of the trolls are, and nobody says anything. Feel free to kick them in the nuts because honestly, there's very little that the people like me, the creators and stuff, can really do. Most of the time, we don't know who's reporting us and stuff. So if you do see bad behavior, make sure to fucking kick those people in the nuts because
No,
they
keep going.
put your content in jeopardy. They put the content you enjoy in jeopardy. Go ahead. I was going to say. Oh, nobody was talking. Well, anyway.
feel bad throwing this out, but I'm doing
Throwing what out, Smashed?
like the whole skin for a 5x5.
By the way, J5, move the butt a little bit back. I think the close focus on the lens was not quite. There you go. Now to focus.
Was G5 here?
Yep, he's right in there in the corner.
Oh,
We
shit.
can't hear you though. If you've been talking, J5, your audio doesn't seem to be working.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yep, we can.
Yeah, there we
I
go.
just haven't been talking.
Oh, right on. What's going on?
So
Oh, no.
this
Me and
whole
Mike getting
thing.
high with Mike Schmidt and my boys.
There you go.
There
So
Schmidt.
I got a 5x5 right here.
Mhm.
It's a mess down here right now. I'm sorry. I just took that down. It's a brand new skin. So I took the poles off this skin, put it in this box. I'm selling that as used poles, brand new skin.
Put the lotion on its skin.
And I'm just gonna throw this one away because it's just dirty. I found mouse poop on the top of it.
I hate to
Turd
say it,
turps.
but I don't think you're going to get a whole lot for those poles. At least around here, I don't know on the East Coast it might be
Dirty
different,
mama.
but here in the Portland area and stuff, like or California, dude, you have to give away grow equipment. Honestly,
I got a
It's-
guy coming tomorrow for 90.
Oh, nice, right on. Uh, gosh, I wonder what the difference is. Maybe because it's fuck, is it a newer grow area or what? Because seriously, here you basically practically have to give it away. Bud was talking about how you had to give away a bunch of stuff. You see tents and stuff on Craigslist for weeks. People don't pick it up. Anyway.
Oh yeah, there's a hole right here. This used to have like right where this is used to be a wood stove, and we took it out. But this is sealed. I'm gonna seal that too and paint all over that. It's just ashes and gunk from the old fucking fireplace.
Mm.
You don't need an exhaust, do you? That's a good exhaust if you need one.
No, I don't,
hole in the middle of your
I don't really exhaust outside. I use like the basement.
I used to always shoot it up to the roof, back when I worried about smell and stuff.
Mm.
It'd be nice to turn this window into a mini split. Heat pump, AC, dehumidifier unit.
Yeah, that's doable.
Mini splits are the shit. Ask Bud.
Mm. They're just kind of expensive, but you can get them yourself. You can get install kits and everything.
Yeah, there's
One knows which.
We
Bud
can't hear you,
knows
but
shit.
oh, he's not talking to us.
No,
Oh, is he talking to us or no?
no,
No,
he's
talking
got
to us,
a
man.
buddy there.
Talking about killer rosin. Oh, shit on a brick. Maybe we'll do it like Bud's doing it and goof off and get to it. Fuck was I gonna say? Gosh, I'm blown away that you're getting money for those poles. Like I would be shocked if I got $20. Like I have some tent poles and stuff that I'm not using right now. I'm like, fuck, I would be shocked if I got $20 from here. Seriously.
Well, I'm giving them the poles and a brand new skin for it.
Huh. Well, that's worth 90. Yeah,
Yeah.
right on. I'm still amazed because even like I say, even tents and stuff are hard to sell, even hard to find too. And I've asked people that basically tried to sell some stuff on Craigslist because I used to buy and sell stuff on Craigslist all the time. Like, fuck, it's sat there for months. I couldn't even get rid of it. Anyway,
Your mom put the skin on my pole. Yeah, with all the grows and rec grows and shit failing, there's so much equipment on the market, cheap.
I think that's it, yeah. And a lot of, I hate to say it, but a lot of growers just don't succeed. Home growers don't really succeed, and or they just get sick of it or whatever, or they realize that they don't really smoke all that much. That's a really common thing. People just don't smoke all that much, and they can just buy a couple ounces at the fucking dispensary these days. It's really not a big deal. Whereas, a grow is quite expensive. Power is going up and up and up everywhere you look at it. Freaking PG has been charging people crazy prices for power lately. That's the one of the Portland power companies. Anyway, a lot of people stopped growing, basically. So that equipment just kind
That's
of
just a monopoly
split
within
out.
itself. The fucking power
Oh,
companies.
for sure. Yeah.
Like we moved one city over, and our bill doubled
Mm.
because it's another company. Like fucking insane. I
Yep, that
hate.
happens all the time. Yep, you hear about it in California quite often. Now Portland area is basically getting hit with essentially carrying costs that PG just absorbed and basically are or made the customers absorb, basically. Fucking stupid. Doesn't even have
I would
anything to
like
do with
to
the rate.
do.
OG baby.
I've been saying this for a while, but I would love to do solar. But it's so hard to like find a company that's gonna do it with the state rebates and everything, and give you all
Was
like
that a body going through a wood chipper?
I think it was. I think that's exactly what it was.
Ah, I thought so.
Wasn't me.
But all right, guys, I gotta go wash
All
my
right.
hands.
We're almost at the 20. Perfect timing, Smashed. Go for it.
Be safe. Hope everyone has a great day. Or Smash 20 on everything. Come catch us Saturday.
Yeah, man. Good to see you.
Smash.
Yeah, I'm
Smash.
jumping in and signing off. It's
Go for it,
been
bud.
great, you guys. Have a
What
great
time is
rest
it?
of the week.
You too. Cheers, bud.
420. Later, bud.
Good to see you. Have a
Yeah.
good dinner.
Bud's buddy there.
Freaking gourmet food for everybody over there. Holy cow, beef Wellingtons. Goddamn. Go for it,
Right on the
J5.
head. Hell yeah, guys. I wanted. Did I lose you? No.
No, you're here. Go for it.
I made the 20. It's 420 Central.
That's it. Go for it, man.
Woo!
Fucking 420.
Cheers, D. Cheers, Hardcore. Cheers, Fumi. Cheers, chat.
Cheers.
Peace
Good to
out.
see you, buddy. Later, Gator.
I should have
Go
tried
for
to
it.
start.
Almost dropped my joint there. Go for it, Ryan.
I should have tried to start building a snowman earlier. I could have kicked a snowman for you guys, but
That would have been really funny.
Right
Actually,
in the
yeah.
nuts.
That's it. Right in the freaking snow cojones. Well, good to see you anyway. Snowman or no.
yep. You guys take care.
Everybody.
Later.
Go for it, D. King D, rather.
Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks to all you lurkers in the background chatting. Oh, good. Let's try that again. Thanks for everybody for watching. Thanks for everybody chatting. Thanks for everybody lurking in the background, doing some work, smoking a joint, doing some gardening, perhaps like Smashed. Catch me Saturday, same bad time, same bad channel. I'm off to have some poutine or cheese because you guys got me on that. Thanks a lot,
Nice.
channel. And I'm gonna go and get that friggin' Bencho scammer that keeps calling my phone right now. Fucking asshole. Have a good week.
Look at the
everybody.
commitment on that fucking right. Look at that. Look at that right there.
Right on,
Perfect. Well
Ryan.
done. It's not the size of the snowman, it's the fact that he kicked it over. That's the important part. Good to see you as always, D. Thank you, folks, for joining us. Thank you for joining us on the big channel, of course, bigger channel, because of course it's still a pretty fucking tiny channel. But anyway, it's the biggest channel that I have, I guess. In the meantime, though, please do subscribe to this channel if you are able to. Tell your friends, of course, because Google's not gonna. Tell your friends, of course, and yourself about Fumidoro. That's my second channel, I guess you could call it. And of course, basically backup channels 3 and 4 are Fumes of Gold and Dank Culture Collective. Yes, I find it ridiculous that I have to have 4 fucking channels just to have even one channel that works at a time, but that seems to be the way it is. Knock on wood, maybe that will change in the future, but in the meantime, until it does, please do subscribe to all 4 channels if you could. If you've been wondering where the fuck we were for the longest time, because it's literally been almost 6 months that this channel has been not really online. Pretty much it's been on, I was stuck in Israel for a while. It was a pretty fucked up situation. And then when I came back, basically, I guess we were on this channel during that time, but when I came back, I think we got a strike on this channel. And then it came back briefly for about a week, and then it got us another strike. And anyway, ladies and gentlemen, seriously, the people that strike these channels, it's something else. It's whatever. It's just, I guess you don't really have to say anything about it because I think most of us are just kind of shaking our head, you know what I mean? But anyway, good to see everybody. L. Russ in the house. Christoph still hanging with us. Mystic Citizen, DGC Jeff. Good to see, of course, John Fleming. I don't think I said hello to you earlier. Who else in here? JD Green. Who else did I miss from earlier here? Shen VA. Good to see, of course, Shen VA. Hopefully we see you again. Patricia. I think I just said Patricia's name already. Garrett B in the house. I think I didn't say hello to you earlier, Garrett. And of course, Mr. Scotto, Samuel Olson, and all the rest, ladies and germs. If I didn't shout you out, hopefully I will shout you out next time. Please remember that we'll have a takeover probably on this channel. I don't know, maybe on Fuse of Gold. We'll see, or Fumidoro. We'll see which channel, honestly, goes live. But ladies and gentlemen, on Saturday, we'll be here with D doing a takeover. What was I going to say? Any special ideas for Saturday, D? I never really asked you. Any special plans? Do you have anything, I don't know,
No,
in mind or?
I got some other stuff in the works. We'll
Right
get
on.
into that later. I wanted
Right
to do
on.
a sketch. I might do it on my channel, but we'll see.
Sweet. Right on. Right on. What's your channel, by the way, D?
Oh, it's by the way, yeah. Thank you, Troubadour. By the
Mhm.
way, it's D Zombie underscore 745. Like,
There you go.
subscribe, and hit the bell to get notified.
And D often does a pre-show before the shows on this channel. So, folks, if you want the entire perfect experience, go over to D Zombie underscore 745. Good to see everybody. Thanks very much for hanging. And I guess that's it. Like I said, punch a troll in the dick next time you see one. And other than that, be kind, be decent, be gentle. Don't be fucking pricks, dicks, or lunatics. Until we meet again, adios. Thanks for hanging. And that's all, folks. I should do a whole Mickey Mouse or Bugs Bunny